we're making are aligned and make sense financially. So it's a lot about making sure that you have the right conversations and make sure that all the different areas within Fanbase are aligned.
And I think this is important to give visibility, because a lot of times when someone thinks about a startup and building a product or building an app, they don't think about the financial implications of everything, right? So we're gonna get into the depth into what those implications are, but I wanted you to be here specifically for that. A lot of times when people are asking, well, I don't understand why Fanbase doesn't do this, or come on, it's so obvious, you should be doing that. There's all these layers, and one of those is finance, and you are part of those conversations. And you know, a lot of times your role is to be the
bad guy,
the bad cop. They're saying, you know what you guys are talking about sounds amazing, might seem fun, but it just doesn't make finance sense. It doesn't make sense. There's all these things, and we appreciate you for that. I mean, I know that you know, it seems like you're always saying no, yes, but that actually makes us a viable business as well, right? And you push us. So I wanted you guys to know that. And as we have this conversation, and as I ask her questions, I want you to think some of the questions you want to ask about her role, you know, implications in Fanbase and so on. In this subject, we can't promise we can answer every question, because
I know,
there's a lot of things that are internal to Fanbase, but we'll do our best to answer those questions as well. So tell me, how is being a CFO at a creator-focused platform like Fanbase is different from other companies? Because actually, let's start there. Tell us a bit about your background. Where are you coming from?
Right.
And then answer that question, because it has a lot to do with that, right?
A lot, yeah. So my background has been at Accenture. I worked there for 13 years. So that's a very long time. And it's a very different structure. Accenture is worldwide. It's very big. It has like over 100,000 employees. So what you get to see at a company that big versus what you get to see at a smaller company is very different. And you are in a company like Fanbase, you are much closer to the decision making and to the impact that that decision has on the final product, and in this case, the creators. So I think that is one of the biggest differences. And for Fanbase in particular versus any other smaller company is knowing how the creator is really the focus. And every decision that we make has that, it's centered on the creators. And that's not just something we say, it's definitely
true, right?
How it's done.
So when we define, for example, a feature, is it true that a lot of times we're not saying, will this make money for Fanbase? We actually ask, will this make money?
How will this favor the creators? Because at the end of the day, that's the nice thing about Fanbase. If the creators do well, Fanbase does well. That's a given. So we are really thinking about creator first, because then Fanbase doing well is just an outcome of that.
And I want to emphasize on that, because if you think about all the other companies out there, you know, they have a very traditional social media model where it's all about making money out of advertising, right? And when you focus on making money out of advertising, you kind of lose focus on the creator itself. So imagine all the business decisions on the financial side that are being made. This question doesn't come up often. It's not like, hey, you know what? Will the creator be able to monetize better? Is this a new revenue stream for the creator? It's more about, okay, how can we give more visibility to this brand or this advertising so the company makes more money? So it is different, and that's why I wanted to ask you that, and I appreciate you explaining that. All right. The next question I have is, what excites you the most about your role here at Fanbase?
So it's definitely the fact that we think about creators first, and the decisions that we make will have an impact on how the social media is seen right now, and that being a very tangible outcome of our day-to-day work. So
I love that.
yeah.
So I wanna also mention something that it's not related to decisions for creators, but it has a lot of impact where fan base is and where we are. And I want to mention it. So in our Tuesday town hall that we do with Isaac every week at 5 p.m., we always talk about how tough the road is on crowdfunding, right? And we mentioned everything that it takes to be able to crowdfund at this level. And I want to mention that Seal is a big part of that, because let's talk a little bit about that, because I think it's important to give visibility. When we first started with the idea of crowdfunding in reggae, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that work that you executed and the amount of paperwork and things that you had to get together. And it's not only getting things together, it's also getting things in shape to do it, right? So talk generally about that effort that you've done there as well, because I think it's important.
So yeah, that was definitely quite an experience, because I was here at Atlanta for the first time, and it was 3 months of me being here and being day and night focused on this reggae race. And just like Rama was saying, it was a lot of paperwork, documentation, talking with our advisors, making sure that we had everything we needed in shape. And we actually got there even faster than what we expected.
Would you say that thanks to that, we are actually structurally, financially, everything a better company?
Oh, definitely. And yeah, we have everything we need to be able to open that reggae race in a month. Yeah, that was
amazing. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about let's continue about finance, and let's talk about the creators, right? Without saying too much information, share with everyone the current revenue streams, how the creators make money today, and what are some of the things that we're thinking about in the future, how to increase that as well.
Okay, definitely. So right now we have our subscription tiers, and we also have our love packs. So creators make money through those two means, and that's basically the revenue that's shared between the creators and fan base. So that's what we mean when we say, if creators do well, fan base does well. So
exactly.
That's our two main streams. Now, in the future, we are definitely thinking about how we can expand and have more revenue streams for creators to be able to monetize. And well, I don't know how much you want me to say.
Well, I mean, there's some things that we've talked about it, right? So let's talk about some of those examples, some concrete examples. Like, we are exploring things such as marketplace, right? Being able to bring marketplace. We also talked about bringing the concept of advertising, but not the traditional one, right? But also, I think that what's important to mention here, that regardless of all these avenues that we're exploring, there is one thing that is constant, which is still all about the creator, right?
It is.
So when we think about these things like, hey, let's build a marketplace, right? Okay, financially, will that provide an opportunity for creators to monetize? Yes, well, then that's an opportunity to fan base to do well as well. So even in those things that might exist out there, our perspective is different.
Definitely. Yeah, it's not traditional, and it always has the creator in the center. Yeah.
Let's walk through an example of our every week conversations, right? So we come up with a great idea, or there is a need, a pain point that we see that creators have, and we start doing some business refining, right? From your perspective, what does it mean to have a ROI on a feature, for example? So I want everyone to understand how finance is deep rooted in business decisions, even at a tech company, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit of what does that look like? What kind of considerations or variables you look into?
Definitely. So first of all, internally, we need to understand what kind of team we will need and what time it will take the team to develop the new features or whatever we are looking forward to. So that's the first step. And then the second step, which is trickier, is okay, how can this positively impact the creators and how will that help them monetize even more? Of course, we need to have some assumptions on that end, but we're always thinking about, again, how creators can better monetize. And then that will basically mean that fan base is also monetizing. And based on that, we end up prioritizing the ones that we think will be, as we call them, the quick wins.
Yeah.
Right?
So something that I mentioned in my talks as well. So you mentioned the type of teams and the time, right? So basically, what capacity? If it's, if it requires our most senior resources and it takes 2 months, right? Let's call it 8 sprints or 4 sprints. Then that has a cost, right? So at your level, and this is one of the reasons why she's also here with us, we are actually working on defining every single piece and how much it costs for us, right? To be able to make better decisions. But other things that come in mind that you and I talked about it all the time is, for example, infrastructure.
Yeah.
Right. So when we think about, we talked a lot of times about RTMP, right? Live streaming. It's not just like RTMP is cool. We think it's going to give value. Let's go ahead, do it. There's actually an analysis that goes out there, right? RTMP has an infrastructure cost, and what kind of technology will we use and how will that impact ROI, right? So all of these are conversations that we have every week. Could you say that thanks to you coming from Accenture, which is a technology company, but could you say that thanks to Fanbase, you're also becoming even more technical than ever?
Oh, definitely. I'm closer to the tech talks right now than I was.
Well, I remember when I first interviewed, you were actually looking into doing training for, I think it was for a Scrum Master.
I actually did. Yeah. I mean, I trained on agile methodologies. So I really like this ambience and the way that we do work at Fanbase. Yeah.
I love that. And everyone in Fanbase, even like it happened with Isaac and even with Seal, I love that a lot of times we're getting challenged with things that go above, beyond finance sometimes. And it's good. It's good to have everyone like that. So I just want to say that I'm proud of,
I am a challenger. Definitely.
I have that challenger. Definitely. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about some personal stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So what made you get into finances? Like what brought you here?
So ever since I was a little girl, I was always into numbers. I was thinking about when I was graduating from school, we had our trip at the end of the year and we had to raise money to actually be able to buy the trip. So I was going into stores and buying things and then reselling things, making my mom bake cakes so I could sell them at school. And everyone was, wow, oh, how much money are you making? Like, are you going to pay for all of our tickets? So yeah, I mean, I've always been into that.
So you were an entrepreneur even when you were a little girl.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
That.
Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest money lessons? And again, we know that you're not a financial advisor,
no,
right?
Definitely.
But you've been in finance long enough where you can maybe share what are your biggest money lessons that you've learned in your career.
Yeah, and I think it's even outside the business world, just at a personal level, is making sure that, first of all, you understand what you're spending your money. I find that a lot of people don't really know where their money is going. And that blows my mind. I'm a control freak. I have my file that has every expense I have. So that's first. And then second, try and save a little money month after month. It doesn't need to be the same percentage of what you make each month, but save it for a rainy day, because rainy days will come,
yeah,
and you need
definitely.
to be prepared for
One
that.
of the things I appreciate about you is that, and I think a good CFO should always be like that. You're more on the conservative level,
Yeah.
and that's why you challenge. And I think that's important to know. I don't think I've ever met a successful CFO that is daring and adventurous and say, okay, yeah, let's do it. I will be very eager.
I have my adventurous side, but not on finances.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about that, because that's my
Yeah.
next question, actually, letting everyone know. Let's jump into that.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about some of your hobbies, because I know you are a sports person.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, I'm definitely into sports. I like playing soccer, tennis. I've done hockey. But then I'm also into adrenaline, and I love a good
Which is
bungee jump.
Which is funny,
It-
because
it-
we're talking
it's-
about you being conservative,
I know,
and then
but
suddenly on her
then
personal.
I'm bungee jumping, skydiving. I love adrenaline. So yeah, that's where I put my adrenaline into, not my money.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I want to mention a funny thing that happened when I first met Sil. So when we first met Sil, she hasn't started working with us yet, but we had an end of the year get together, and she decided to come, even though she was starting in January, I
Yeah.
think, right?
Yeah.
And in that get together, we ended up playing soccer.
Yeah.
And, she showed up, a brand new girl, and she's like, I play soccer. I was like, hey, come and play. And man, she kicked some butt. Like she wasn't taking prisoners. And that's how she made her first statement. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
oh man, she's coming to handle finances. We got to be on the lookout for her. So I remember that. And, I think you are as good of a CFO as you are a soccer player. I got to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
good.
Anything else I want to be opening it up for questions for everyone, but anything else that you want to share with anyone, thinking about, you're very involved in product decisions as
Yeah.
well. So anything you want to share with our audience?
So definitely super excited about the future. I think that as you guys all know, this reggae race is what will allow us to take Fanbase to the next level. We're working very hard on that. We are planning ahead and making sure that we have A to Z plans to make that happen. So yeah, very excited about the future at Fanbase.
That's awesome. And you're right. We're already thinking ahead, and you're a big part of that as well. So thank you. Well, if there's another question that might come up, I might ask you, but let's go ahead and see what our users, let me go ahead and here and see.
Let's see, we have
I missed
questions.
Silvana's title. So she's our CFO. So she's the one that, let me see. I'm going to go through the top of the questions here in the chat room. Let me see. What's up, guys? How are you? I'm seeing some of you. What's up, Ron, Jamie, Silver Fox? Welcome. I love the positive vibes in this room always. Let me see. Yeah, someone says, let's push this and get this race close. We are pushing.
Oh yeah.
We're making progress. And I think, we have a lot of things going on to close that race, but definitely we want to close it soon. What's the, while we looked at the questions, where, if someone wants to invest in Fanbase, where should they invest?
So there's two different links that you can use: startengine.com/fanbase, or it's invest.fanbase.app.
Yeah.
Those are the only two places that you can go and invest. Nowhere else.
Yeah. Someone said, is that Silvana Ullman? It is Silvana Ullman. We call her Sil. We like using nicknames. So every time we hire someone in Fanbase, I get their name, and then it says, do you have a nickname? I have a hard time with people that I work with to call them by the first name.
Oh, the full name is like
you're in trouble.
Yeah. Did I do something wrong? Yeah.
I know. Every time, I don't think you ever said Ramiro. No.
Oh, you need to be scared if I call you Ramiro.
All right, let's see what else we have here. Any questions, guys? Let me see. Welcome to Fanbase. Well, just a little bit more than controller. As we grow, that's actually a good thing that we want to talk about. As we grow, we are growing the financial side of Fanbase, because there's so many things that we need to do. In a larger organization, you have your accountant and you have your financial per product group. We have actually a very large financial roadmap for the product itself. Something that Sil does that you haven't mentioned is she's also drives and leads all the payments that goes out to creators. So the first of every month, when you get paid, Sil is involved in that. And in fact, the first of this month was on Sunday. And guess what? Sil and team were working. We have automation for that, but we still have a lot of things purposely that they're manual because we want to check, make sure. And Sil leads that. So I want to say thank you for even working on Sundays to pay creators. But as part of that roadmap, how we pay them, what can they do with their money? There's a lot of financial decisions, right? There's the FinTech side of the financial side that we still need to evolve. And we have a plan for that, but we're not there yet. We want to get there as soon as possible, but we'll get there, and Sil will be able to lead on that as well. I'm seeing some questions here, but they're all product related. No questions for Sil. All right. What happens if a payment is sent to a bank account that is closed and is sent back?
So basically, you just need to reach out to our support team, support@fanbase.app, and they will make sure that they will reach out to me and we will issue the payment again to the right bank account or credit card, whatever is the preferred method.
And in fact, we do have, it's the exception, not the rule, but we do have sometimes the users, their debit card expire or their bank account, they forgot to change it. Don't worry, it's not like it goes to the wrong account or it goes in the middle of nowhere. We have visibility on the back end of that. Right now, because we're a small team, we unfortunately can't proactively do an analysis and reach out to you. So like Silvana said, for some reason you feel like you should have getting paid or you got the email, because actually when we pay them, there's an email that gets sent out, but you didn't get your money yet. Reach back out. We can recover that money for you. That's not a big deal. And then we can ask you to change to the right bank account and then pay you. So we have full visibility and control, but right now we're not being proactively reaching out just because of the size of team that we have.
Exactly.
Awesome. Let me see. I did payment processes for multiple Fortune 500 to, I know, yeah. So Sil, I feel for Sil because every time we go through the first of every month, she reaches out to me and says, hey, Rami, remember that we need to get together to improve the process and automate it. And I know we have to. There's so many things that we can do, but you know, we gotta choose where to put our efforts, and that's what we're doing. And I think the payment right now, it works. People are getting paid, the right people are getting paid, and that's working, which is great. Now, as we grow, we'll definitely have to make this more scalable. So we definitely need to do work.
But again, this is an example of how we prioritize creators and monetization, because right now you guys are getting paid, even though it entails more manual labor on our end. But
Okay. Let me see. What about fraud payments? How quickly is that turnaround? I mean, we can talk a little bit about, we do have know your customer automation there, that we do a basic audit on everyone. And we're actually, cover 90-something% of what could be frauds. There's still room for improvements there. But, on the first of every month, we actually do the work before the first of every month, right?
We do our checks right before.
How long does the process start before the first of every month to get there?
Well, it's usually a week. It used to be more time, but we got much better. But it's a week just to make sure that we have the right funds in the right places, so we can pay everyone the first of every month. Yeah.
It's a good question. It's more of a product question than finance, but I think you might know this one. If not, I'll answer. Do you foresee an opportunity in the future where creator income can be used for app purchases, basically reuse that?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's something we're exploring, and it's in the roadmap.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the longer roadmap that I mentioned, all the other cool things that we could do. And we want to get there soon, but we still need to go through this, what I call the foundational part. Someone says she stays busy. Yes, she does. she's amazing. Would you say that part of being able to do so much and still get it done. It's really about having a structure and a process and doing time management.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is where the Accenture days pay off, like being organized, structured, and having that big company background pays off
I
because
agree.
yeah, you get to understand to not underestimate what some task might entail, and making sure that yeah you have everything tracked because the to-do list is never
Oof.
blank. Yep.
So, I was mentioning, as we are bringing new team members, uh, I was talking to Sil and I was saying, I'm starting to give some of the tasks that I was doing to those new participants, which is great. And you would think that that will free my time, but what I'm doing is I'm actually bringing other tasks in the same time. And definitely being
Yeah.
structured is a big thing that we need to do. All right. Well, thank you, Sil. I know you're going to stay
Of course,
here while I
yeah.
talked about technology. If you guys have any questions for Silvana, Fanbase's CFO, please feel free to drop it in the chat. Let me see if YouTube, let me see. Let me see. All right. Okay, I don't have any questions there. I have some comments there from Kerala. Kerala, believe me, we're always improving, but I appreciate your comments. All right, so let's go into actual development and technology. We are, today we started our sprint 121. I think it is 121. We just finished 120. We do have a new release that is coming up between today and tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about that release. For those that don't know, our development cycle is a 2-week cycle, which means that at the end of every development cycle, there is a release. Now, sometimes those releases are hefty and have functional new features and bug fixing, and sometimes it's just purely bug fixing. Okay, right now we have version 4.5 for iOS and Android that is coming up. iOS has been approved, but we haven't launched it yet. Maybe they did while we were in this tech talk. And Android, we're waiting for Google Play approval, but I'm hoping between today and tomorrow we'll be there. Okay, so be on the lookout for the new version. This new version has a lot of bug fixing, which is exciting. I did mention that about a month ago we started doing some foundational work, and we're cleaning the backlog. The backlog is basically every time you report that you have an issue, or the QA team or us, we identify there are issues, that goes into the backlog. And as a company, as time progresses and what needs to be done is more than the resources that you have, that backlog keeps growing. But it gets to a point where you got to take care of that backlog. It's one of those things that you're like, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it gets to a point where it's like, look, we can't proceed without doing that. So when we actually brought our new product owner, one of the objectives that we put ourselves is saying, okay, let's focus on the backlog and addressing all these underlying issues that at the end of the day does affect user experience, right? So we started that about a month ago. The team is making great progress. I actually asked, I'm going to look at my Slack message. I asked for a report right before we started at the percentage of backlog that was clean, but I don't think I have it yet. But our objective for this year, for this quarter, not year, is actually solve 70% of our backlog. That's a big, big number. So objectives are meant to be ambitious. Otherwise, what's the point? So right now, if I look at it, wow, we are at right now 70% done. Look at that. We have 83 out of 117 done, which is amazing. Now, the quarter is not done. And as we progress, there's might be new bugs that come here and there, but the team has been making great progress. This release that I mentioned, 4.5, is going to bring around 30 some fixes across iOS, Android, API, and web as well. When we have releases that are across all 4 technologies, iOS, Android, API, which is the backend, and then web as well. We're always working on all across. So I'm excited about the progress that the team has been making. Again, we're at 70% done today. There might be new bugs that might bring us down, but I'm confident that by the end of the quarter, we are going to reach that objective. Why is that good news for you? Again, not only we are ironing out some of the issues that they might not be showstoppers for you, because if there are showstoppers, we always take care of it right away, but they do affect user experience. And the great thing about that is that once we get to a good place in the backlog, we can actually start bringing features and improvements and go beyond just bug fixing, right? And that's the next big things that are coming up, which I'll talk briefly, okay? So just giving you an update of on Sprint 120. We have a release coming up, and we're doing great progress on backlog grooming, cleaning, and I'm excited about what's coming up, because I'm seeing on the roadmap of Sprint 121, we started today on 122, we're starting to work on refactors and simplification work, which is going to bring improvements on a lot of things. All right. So with that said, great progress. It might seem invisible to you, but it's an important progress for Fanbase. Believe me, that matters. You got to take care of those kind of foundational things before you can move forward, and we're finally able to do that. Okay. Let me see if you have any questions on that. I'm seeing some questions. Will Fanbase ever introduce any incentives to hold payouts for Fanbase versus pulling every month? We talked about that too, right? We do that. But I want to ask you a question, and it's an accounting question that people don't realize. Your responsibility and your team's responsibility is not only to bring ROI to everything we do and to Fanbase, but also to keep a clean and balanced book and on the accounting side, right? So a lot of times, and this is important, I'll tell you why. When users can get paid, but they don't put their payment profile, they don't claim their revenue, that's actually something negative for Fanbase too, right?
That's a liability from an accounting perspective. Yeah. So that's something that we're discussing, but there are some nuances around it. Yeah.
Correct. So you also got to think about those, right? So if you ever wonder why we insist so much to wanting to pay you, is because we want you to realize what Fanbase means, which is getting paid, but also that also helps Fanbase, because at the same time, we have some users that they made thousands of dollars and they have them claim them yet, right? And that's something that I know it doesn't make sense to you. It's like, what? But they made thousands, they haven't claimed it. That's true. We can't believe either. So we're always trying to do all these things. Like we had Vale, who leads CRM. We have campaigns where we reach out to them saying, hey, put your payment profile so we can pay you. Hey, your payment profile is expired. Let us pay you. But after a while, if users don't want to get paid, they don't want to get paid. And we take action towards that. So definitely, Nolan, we are considering other ways where you can hold payments, but that will have some, like Silvana said, some nuances and limitations with that as well. Okay. Let's see. Do you talk about Fanbase hitting your phone app? We didn't talk about that. We have that in mind. So as part of the refactors, let's put a pinpoint on that when we're talking about refactors, about how that affects the performance of the phone, but we'll talk about that, all right? Let me see what else we have here. SSO helps with easy logins. Yeah, it does. So as far as SSO, we were looking before SSO at a conversion rate between 35 to 40%. When we implemented SSO, we're looking at a conversion rate closer to 70%, which is amazing. So SSO is definitely making a big difference. There's still a lot of improvements we want to do to SSO. There's never such thing as 100% conversion for a social media platform specifically, but 70 is really good. So sometimes we talk about things that we need to improve, but we don't talk enough about things that we've done that actually are affecting bottom line. And SSO is one feature that we're proud of, and we're going to continue improving for sure. Can we get the option of getting hearts instead of money? I came as a fan. Yeah, that's basically reusing it, right? And we're open to that as well. But on every decision, there's not only a financial decision, there's also a technical decision, right? How the development team can allow us to make those labs again so you can use them. So recycle, right, inside Fanbase. I love that because at the end of the day, the lab is a digital currency.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So digital currency has a lot of use beyond just being able to cash out. So we're definitely considering that. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about what's coming next. We talked about Sprint 120 and that we have a new release, which is 4.5. So be on the lookout for that. Now let's talk about what we're starting to work with. Okay. The next big things that are coming down the roadmap for what's left in Q2 and Q3 as well are, if I want to separate them in two big pillars. One of them is, as part of the backlog grooming, we realized that a lot of things, rather than just fix them, we needed to take advantage and improve them. There's a big difference between fix them and improve them. So certain things we said, you know what? Yes, can we fix this fairly quickly? Yes, but this is an opportunity for us to make it better, right? So I'm going to give you some examples of some of the what we call refactors that we're going to start right away. And in fact, in this new sprint, we're starting. Number one is notifications. Okay, we have notifications in Fanbase. What we want to do with notifications is we want to improve the delivery speed, the accuracy of delivery. We also want to get to a point where we give you true independence of what you want to get notified on what. Now, if you go to settings today in your profile, you can say, I don't want to get notified on audio. I don't want to get notified on this and that. But I want to go deeper than that. We want to really give you the option of saying, I want to get notified if this user is doing that, if that user. So we want to get very granular. And to get there, we do need to do a small refactor that will, again, improve the delivery of speed of notifications. It will allow us to also be more or improve our messaging, right? I mentioned that we just hired a new product marketing manager, and one of the big undertakes on quick wins that she's going to have is work with product and marketing to really understand how we communicate across the entire app. We wanted to make sure that that's not only relevant to the user, it's also culturally relevant as well. So doing this refactor notification will enable us to have better messaging. And for you as a creator, it means that when you are creating content where you're going on stage in audio, you will have better impact for your audience, right? So you'll be able to have more audience in your conversations, hence monetize better. So it's all tied to how it impacts you as a creator as well. So notifications is one of the big refactors that we're starting to work now. We're looking into improving certain layers of security. We are going to be looking at things such as block. We are going to be looking also as audio as well, how we can improve scalability of audio, how far we can go as we grow. We want to make sure that all the verticals can also support the growth as well, right? And so we're going to be, again, doing some refactors and improving some of these. We're going to work in an agile manner. So this is not a refactor. It's going to take us 7 months before you see the value of it. You are going to start seeing the value and notifications changing, for example, throughout all the different verticals in the upcoming sprints as well. Okay, so that's number one. The other big piece, which I've been talking about, is the simplification piece. We are trying to simplify the user experience inside Fanbase. We know that as a platform, we are different because if you think about it, we have all this functionality into one platform. We have, audio rooms. We have short form video like TikTok. We have long form video like YouTube. We have, still images and video like Instagram, right? And as such, we bring all this world together. We want to simplify. We've learned a lot through these years of what's good and not so good about the user experience. So we are going to be simplifying the platform in 3 big layers. Number one is going to be how you search for other users and creators and how you search for content itself. Number 2 is going to be how you consume content. So we are simplifying the feed, the home feed experience. And number 3 is we're simplifying the way you create content. I want to say simplifying, I don't mean just making it look better and just easier for you to use. we're looking at every layer of those things. For example, is a lot of you have been having some pain points in uploading videos and maybe the time it takes, or maybe, for example, how it consumes data from your phone itself. Consuming data and consuming memory can also cause things such as, the phone overheating, or if you're in regions where data is super important, that matters, right? So this simplification and refactor work, we're looking at every layer and will enable us to start tackling all these other pain points that you have today. So while this seems like, oh, well, they're just making things look prettier, we're going beyond that. We're going to be addressing a lot of pain points that we know are there. And also we're making Fanbase more scalable. So then we can bring all these new features in a more scalable way. So all the work that is coming and it's being done today, foundational work, is exciting for us because I think it's really going to put us in a new phase of growth from the product perspective. So when you have these questions about, hey, sometimes my phone overheats when I'm in a busy audio room, or hey, this is taking me a long time to upload a 20-minute video, things like that are going to get addressed, and we're contemplating them across all these things that are coming in our near-term roadmap. Okay, so that's a little bit of what's coming. Of course, it's going to be divided among many sprints. I wish we could do everything really quick. We're still a small team. Yep. I would love to be a longer team, but guess what? Every time we're trying to grow team, guess who we go first to ask? Yep. Exactly, her. And guess what's her questions? Okay, what is the justification? Why you want to do this? Why you want to do that, right? So when, for example, when we brought the concept of, hey, Seal, we need to start doing automation, right? We do a lot of manual QA, but we need to bring automation in our development. That's when you come with all these questions. Okay, well, how is automation going to affect our bottom line? What that will cost us as far as, how many resources, and how is that translating into improving the product, which gives value to the creator. Yep. So we have to give all these justifications, which are great because it makes us think it through. I know that sometimes you're like, oh, it takes a little longer to move forward, but it really makes us think through and make sure that when we implement them is the right way, right? And so that's why when I talk and I say all these things, there's all these people that participate of that decision maker, and that's what makes a company scalable and a good company grow. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Again, just trying to give you visibility of all the background work that is being done on Fanbase as well. All right, let's look to see if you have any other questions out there. What I just shared. Let me see. We talked about having the hearts. Is there a difference in earning if a user earns hearts or love purchase on web versus on iOS and Android?
No.
Right now,
value is exactly the same.
Yeah, right now it's not. As we continue progressing, just because on web we don't have those store fees, we are going to start looking at value add for creators as well, right? We gotta be very careful how we do that, because it has implications also on the app itself. But we also have intentions of growing web strategically. Yep. Because we do see there is value for creators as far as revenue. Yep. All right. Let me see. Don't worry if you're late. We are actually doing a watch party. Yep. Which means that once we're done, this is going to be recorded and I'm going to be uploading it to my Fanbase Plus. So if you have any questions or you say, oh, I missed most of it, don't worry. I'm going to upload in Fanbase Plus within the next few days, and you'll be able to check it out. And you can ask questions through the comments as well. A lot of times users go into my Fanbase Plus and they ask questions, and I'll answer as quickly as I can. Let me see.
And I got to say, I love how you do this so naturally. Hosting and reading questions, answering.
It's a process. Wow. But, after a while, there's a system and structure to a process. The team has grown a lot in the last few months. It has. When we progress on the race, we've done really great at the first part of this year.
Yeah.
And we go to a point where we say, okay, we have two options. We continue being very conservative and, being careful what we do, or we invest in growth.
Exactly.
And we say we need to invest in growth. That's why we're doing this race, right? And as such, we say, okay, how do we invest in growth? All right, we need to improve on the product side in these areas. Okay, what kind of skill set and things do we need? That's why we brought a product owner, Lauren, who you met here in Atlanta. We also need to improve the way we communicate to our user base and we attract our user base. Well, we need someone that can help from the product marketing side, right? And so we have hired a lot in last month, and I think we're getting to the end of that first phase, and now we're trying to make a difference with that team that we have, right? It's going to take some time because there's a lot of new people. With new people, there's like learning curves. But once we get to that point and we see that we're growing and the program is growing, then we're going to go through another phase of growth and bringing more people, right? And that's the way we want to continue growing. So we're excited. It's been super hectic.
Yeah.
And the good thing about having you here is that you can get to see how, and you know it too, because on the development side too, every time we grow, the onboarding of, teaching the fan-based product and all of that, it's a process.
Yeah, definitely. And then making sure that the team gets to a point where it's working as a team, that always takes time. So yeah.
Could you say that we actually we spend a lot of time and are very conscious of investing in human capital, in the sense that we put a lot of effort into onboarding and bringing the right people, right? We're not perfect. Sometimes it just doesn't work. But
the recruitment process is very thoughtful as well. Yeah, it's not just hiring people because we need to increase the team.
Yeah,
it's hiring the right people, the right fit, and building synergies. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. All right, let's see. I think needing to purchase an in-app currency to support someone is a massive barrier to entry for most people. Yes and no. So our model is not a paid model. It's a freemium model. All right. So what that means is that you can use Fanbase completely for free. You can participate in Fanbase without actually purchasing in-app, right? Now, is that ideal? Not really, because at the end of the day, you want to have that flywheel where not only you have creators, but those that support creators by helping them monetize and purchasing, right? But right now, Fanbase has zero barrier of entry. In fact, I will tell you a number. Do you know how much time, and most of you probably heard this, how much time it takes for any creator out there to make $1 in all the other social media platforms? Let's see if someone can say it. I'm going to give you a few seconds. I know some of you know it by heart now. Close. 6 months. To make $1, it takes them 6 months. You're right, see a push. You know how much it takes here in Fanbase to make $1 for those that make money? Let's see if someone gets that one too. I'm going to give some love, whoever got the 6 months right. Here you go, see a push. No one day, not yet. We want to get there. It takes 2 weeks. So for those making, well, I mean, see a push. Some people make $1 in 45 minutes. But in average, we're talking about average here, right? 2 weeks. So that tells you right there that in Fanbase, the barriers for anyone to make money are much lower than everywhere else. We have a freemium model. If you're someone that doesn't want to support a creator by giving them money, okay, I mean, if you want to support, you can give them a like, you can comment, you can participate in the audio rooms, you can give them emojis, you can support them that way. It's the same way you support them everywhere else, right? We're not doing that differently. Now we have an extra layer, which is supporting them, truly supporting them, right? Because everyone, can support you and say, oh, you're amazing, you're everything. It makes you feel good. But at the end of the day, you're putting effort there and your content has value. And that's what Fanbase is about. And that's an extra layer. So I respectfully disagree that being able to use in-app is a better. Now, if we're talking about potentially supporting through other ways of monetization that is not in-app, I agree with that. There's other ways, right? But right now we're in the middle of a transitioning where the stores still demand at certain layers that you use in-app for kind of purchasing, right? And we're looking that in the roadmap. But actually, we're very proud of how low a barrier to entry is Fanbase. You can come in here, have fun, but eventually, if you want to support or make money, you're going to get there. And no one is pushing you to do that, right? Let me see what else we have here. So hopefully that answered your question or your what you mentioned. I just made 50 cents in 15 seconds. There you go. That is true. We're seeing, I call that the aha moment where, it's just people don't realize. They come and they're like, oh, this feels like, okay, this is like Instagram or like TikTok. This is not, hold on, what? I just made $1?
Yeah.
What is that? That is different, guys. And I think there's still a learning curve for everyone out there that we're working on as well to help through the learning curve. But that's the future. For a lot of people, that's the present, but that's the future. Content has value and everyone will get paid for their content. Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions. Let me see in YouTube here. Do we have anything else? No? Well, we have a lot of people there. What's up, guys? All right. Well, with that said, we're right at 6 p.m. Eastern time here. Let's do a brief recap. For those that joined late, I have the pleasure of being next to Silvana Ullman, aka Sil, who's our CFO. She was a big part of us being here through our crowdfunding race. She's part of the every finance and product decision, really.
Yeah.
And we got to meet her and know her, and we're so happy that you're here. We're appreciative of your work.
I'm really happy to be here. I'm the one who's super excited, as I said, about the present and the future at Fanbase.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then we talked a little bit about the great work that the product development team is doing. I mentioned that we just finished Sprint 120. We have a new release coming up between today and tomorrow. We're about 70% done on our backlog, which is amazing. That might go down, might go up in the next couple sprints, but we're actually reaching our goal. And that will lead us into starting to work in a lot of refactors that will bring improvements across the board and also simplification of the product. How you search for content and users, how you consume content, and how you create content. So there's some exciting changes coming to Fanbase. And by you coming and join me every Thursday at 5 p.m., I'll give you visibility of those improvements, answer your questions. I'll be here every Thursday like usual. And also we're gonna get better as also communicating all of these. We're working on a new help center that you'll be able to see also all the releases, release notes, and so on. So we're also improving there. So my tech talk is not the only way you're gonna find out we have a new release. With that said, thank you, Sil, again.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you so much. This is recorded. I'm gonna put it on Fanbase Plus. So if you look at this or look at it from YouTube or from web, come into Fanbase, sign up, create an account. It's completely free, and find out what Fanbase is about, and then you'll be able to catch up with the Fanbase Plus that I'm gonna be uploading. All right. With that said, have a fantastic rest of the week, and we'll see you / hear you next Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Right. Another Rama Thursday Tech. So that's all. I will see you again live streaming. Dang, I always get noise in the background. Too many websites open, right? But as I was saying, I'm signing out. Hope you enjoyed Thursday Rama Tech. Remember, it's every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Get the news. Get some Q&A answers to your questions. One of the best topics, as he mentioned, was your phone getting hot. So anybody who didn't catch it, yes, they are streamlining the 3 focuses, as he said, and this is part of retention, right? user search and contact search, right? Well, content search. Let's recorrect that. And then the second one is content consumption. For all you people that love watching and viewing content, content consumption, how you view content. So hopefully that means what goes down our feed, how we look at what's going across even the web probably, but we'll see more. Simplify the way you create content. Yep. People having problems. This is shout out to you, Tall Boy. I know you had a lot of issues uploading your content on Fanbase. So hopefully this helps. And that's all for now. Signing out. Memoirs. Tout à l'heure. Au revoir.